Welcome, everyone. I am so glad you joined us today, and welcome to Curated. Dustin so graciously let us use this space because it is beautiful, and we're sitting on this couch that will someday be mine. And Ericka, I want to thank you for coming.
My pleasure. It's an easy yes to sit on a couch with you any day of the week.
My first question for you is, why did you say yes to being on my podcast, knowing that we might talk about taboo topics or sex or whatever else?
Listen, Rebekah, I know you well enough to know that is going to be the case. My yes came fast and easy for being on your podcast. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to walk with you and alongside you on this journey, and how successful you are, how many people's lives you shaped and changed. I mean, I'm always down for a microphone and an opportunity to be on the other side of the camera. But this yes was sparked by you actually helping me. And what I want to share with your audience today is I had a real life Rebekah in the wild encounter where your training, your experience, and your knowledge, I ran straight to you, and it changed my world. And so that's my real yes, is so that we can unpack that today, and hopefully I can share with your listeners and the world about what it looks like to learn from Rebekah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
My pleasure.
Let's dive right in. What's this? What's this experience of me in the wild?
I mean, it's always fun to see you out and about. But when I did see you this particular day, my husband Todd has a very public-facing job, and it's part of who he is. It's a part of who I am. It's so much fun to be in and amongst the community, and I've always noticed my body. I would guess you would say I'm a feeler, right? I can walk into a room and experience the room. Yeah. But this particular day, I had been walking through some relational stressors and issues, and a friendship that I'd had that I thought was a long-term, family friendship had been deteriorating in the last year. And I hadn't seen this person. I haven't talked to them in a year or so. And at this public event where my husband was speaking, he was like the main speaker of the event. I was very much so on, right? Greeting everyone and saying hi and being his proud wife. Yeah. And out of the corner of my eye, this person who I had not seen, who I deeply care about and have pain with, came up behind me and embraced me and called me sweetie and said things in a way that I think that maybe a normal person would have been like, oh, that was nice. But the way it hit my body, I was taken back by my own response in that moment. I was thrown off of my game. I remember almost retreating in my body, but then also retreating in my mind and having multiple things go through my head at once of what's going on? What do I do? What do I say? Not really knowing how to respond, and having what that turned out to be was a really awkward encounter. Probably not just for them, but for me, and then for the other people that were watching of what was that? What's happening? What was that? Right. Yeah. I'm normally very open, kind. I like to consider myself to be open, kind, warm, accepting. And that was not the case. That was not the person that came out of me. Okay. But there you were out of the corner of my eye, and I ran to you, and I think I interrupted mid-conversation. And I was like, Rebekah, this is just what happened. And you stopped in that moment and you were like, Ericka, you're not wrong. What you felt was real, and you don't have to give permission for people to hug you. It's okay for you to have said to say no. That doesn't have to happen ever again. And I was so impacted by that. I don't know if it was the permission that I needed in that moment to realize oh, I really didn't like that. Yeah. Or the realization that my body was responding to what I was feeling.
What did your body feel like?
I felt, first of all, I felt anxious. That was the first physical response that I felt, which to me feels like the room got really small. My hearing goes kind of weird. And then I could notice I was having trouble breathing, and then you're struggling for a reaction. That was in the moment, I'm struggling to figure out how to respond in a way that's kind. Because what I really wanted to do was be like, don't ever touch me again. Like that's what I wanted to say was absolutely not. No, you cannot do that right now. We have beef and you're not allowed to pretend like this is okay. But I did not because of me wanting to save face maybe, or respond socially appropriately, or
Okay, let's go with that one.
Okay, that's fair. Let's be mature, you wanting to be mature and whatever that may be.
Well, mature is still holding a boundary.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if it's the socially acceptable was the conditioning because potentially you were never allowed to make someone else uncomfortable?
Oh, absolutely not.
Right?
I would still say that is something that I hold as, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, of course you don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, but then it's often at my own expense.
To your deficit.
In this case, it was a very clear example of how far I have internalized that script.
Okay.
To say, even when you know it's wrong, or when, Ericka, even when you're uncomfortable, you're not allowed to make other people uncomfortable. And that rocked my world.
Yeah.
I walked away from it and I sat in my car and I thought about the consequences of confronting it, of being like, sending out a message. Hey.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I want to go back to, okay, you got permission and you felt better.
I didn't feel better. I just felt free. I felt all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, she's right. Like, I am a 42-year-old adult woman who gets to decide who gets to hug me. Like, why has that never crossed my mind before?
Okay, what did the freedom feel like though?
It felt like having for the first time, seeing my existence as something that I can actually dictate.
Oh.
Where my existence, my experience, what I have to offer, my warmth, my friendship, the intimacy that I could offer people isn't something that people just get to take when they feel like it. Yeah. I'm in charge of that.
Yeah. That's huge.
I agree. I agree. Why have in my mind, I know this to be true. In my body and what I was doing. My choices reflected a very different belief system than what my mind knows to be true.
Right.
My mind is like, of course those things are true. My body was like, you actually don't behave that way. And I think that disconnect of who I say I would be in those moments, and then who I actually was in that moment, where it caused like this tension.
Yeah.
Inside of me.
It's nerve-wracking when you can actually visualize like, oh, I'm at war with myself.
I'm at war with myself and I actually don't do what I say I do. Mm-hmm. I'm actually not reacting in a way that it would be in line with what I would hope I would respond. I would hope I would say, Ericka, when you get in comfortable situations, you stand up for yourself. Ericka, when somebody does something wrong, or when there's harm, or when there's injustice, or when that you have the ability to have your own autonomy and say, this isn't right for me. But then when I got into the situation and I was like, I'm a 2-year-old.
I know.
Or what, how old? Maybe
it could
7?
It could have been 2, 7.
I felt 12. A little older than 2. Okay. It felt like middle school. That's where I was landing.
Okay.
It was more like 12, 13.
Great notice.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm working really hard.
Yeah. I love it.
It's all of our lunches. It's really cool. But that really did impact me. I mean, I would say from your practice, one of the biggest takeaways that I've had and why it felt so easy to come to you was because I knew you would ask me, how are you feeling in your body? And that was what I was realizing was my body feels weird. And it wasn't like, oh, just get over it, or, oh, we'll deal with it later. You were like, yeah, Ericka, you are right. And it was really, really impactful. So I sent a message.
Okay.
I mean, you already know this. I gave you the feedback. I was like, Rebekah, I sent this message and you were like, how do you feel now? And I was like, sick to my stomach. Because the reality is when you ask someone not to hug you, that's a weird thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
It felt like super petty.
Okay.
It felt so petty to be like, hey, by the way, when we see each other, like, please don't come up and hug me. All of a sudden I felt like, biatch.
So was there another voice in your head saying, oh, you shouldn't because this is what you're going to be if you send this message? Does that
There
make
was
sense?
that. And I think the script in my mind is I am too much. Like that's already something that was on the table.
Okay.
And so this idea that now I'd be asking for boundaries in like a very clear way. And that
No ambiguity.
no room for wiggle. And
Okay.
I feel in my communication, one of the things I offered was I was like, hey, listen, I would love to pursue reconnection, always leaving the door open for that. But that looks like honesty to me. And it looked like sitting down and actually owning, here's where I was hurt. Here's where you were hurt. Here's like not just glossing over it, but really owning it. That to me is what I crave in friendships. That feels like safety to me when I actually know what's going on in the relationship, right? And the pain that emerged was, oh, you want the intimacy. You want to be physically close to me. You want to be able to come up and give me hugs and call me sweetie, but you don't want to actually do the work of getting messy and sitting in the conflict with me and hashing that out. And that piece was disorienting and painful, and it caused grief and sadness. And I can't force anyone else into it. Like I can't.
No, because you don't get to control them.
I can't. Yeah. Yeah. But I do get to control what happens in my world and in my zone. So when I asked for the reconciliation, they were taken back by my boundaries. Like, what's wrong with you? I don't know where we went wrong. Like, I'm just trying to reestablish and reconnect some niceties and some normalcies, which I actually understand that perspective. Like some people want to like glaze over it and pretend like things are okay, and that builds reconnection. I'm just not one of those people. I need to like feel safe at a very core level, and then I don't feel like I'm operating out of like a fakeness.
Yeah, and then you offer the physicality, the hugs, kind names.
Even if things aren't like great, even if they're still messy, even if it's still we're working things out, receiving that intimacy from, and I'm going to say this is a friendship. This isn't even like going into relationships, but I would say it's probably the true even in marriage relationships. Like intimacy, you need that safety. Otherwise, it's just transactional.
Yeah, it's consensual 100% of the time, and not every bit of access is 100% carte blanche. It's hey, do you want to hold hands now? Do you want to hug right now? Do you need space right now? All of those are necessary in marriage, in friendship, in relationships. But we forget that. We forget to ask for permission because that shows vulnerability. So if she came up and said, hey, could I give you a hug? It's going to be vulnerable for both of you because it's vulnerable for her to ask because she's never had to ask before. Vulnerable for you because you're going to actually have to think about it.
Yeah. And I did after I walked away thinking about like, what am I going to do? What would I have said? Would I have said no? And I probably would have said no. I would have been like, hey.
Yeah.
So that was my ask was like, when I see you, this is what feels good to me. A nod and a smile. Yeah. If we want to work towards something, that I would love to do that. Like the door is open to sit down and rehash things. And like, I will never close the door in that way, even now. Hi. But the response was, no, I don't want to rehash it with you. And so then my ask was, then a nod and a smile is what I need to when we see each other. Yeah. And I felt incredibly safe. And now when I think about seeing that person in public, there's actually relief that comes. Yeah. Because I know, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get sneak attacked. I can actually say like, oh, we're going to do a nod and a smile. That feels so good. You can exist and be happy over that. I can be happy for you. I can watch you win. I can, see you from afar and want good things for you, but not feel like I'm faking this intimate relationship or this friendship,
or you have to be on guard, right?
Yes.
Because now with the boundary, it actually protects the unit. It protects both of you.
Exactly. Because I'm not going to give her a weird response of like, ugh, which I did. I mean, my reaction was like, what the actual, like, do not touch me, which I'm sure that wasn't her intention. I'm sure her intention was, I want to be close with you. I'm trying to build a bridge. And I was like, we can't build bridges until our foundation is good. Yeah. And that was just a mismatch. There's a mismatch there.
So having that realization of you actually have permission and have given yourself permission to figure out what works for you and what doesn't, how has that impacted other areas of your life, even in your marriage? or with other relationships, or just with yourself. Because a lot of times we're like, okay, I'm this type of person. And then out in the wild, something happens and we go back to that 7 to 12-year-old little girl, right? But now, okay, our nervous system is scanning, okay, for safety, for familiarity, right? And so when you go into a situation that has like inklings of familiarity, what do you notice now?
I feel less responsible for how other people feel. That was the biggest takeaway for me of having walked out the actual experience. Like, that was the first time that I would say I've fully walked out a healthy boundary for me that actually cost someone else something.
Yeah.
Like, it was not a favorable boundary. It was, I'm actually asking you not to do something that you want to do, and I'm putting my foot in the ground, and it's for me, right?
Yeah.
And so now that it actually happens quite often. Like, I'll see people that maybe I have had uncomfortable conversations with, or things are like rocky. I don't feel responsible for my behavior or what I need, how that makes them feel. I'm okay with you not being happy with me for me saying no to what you want, or calling it out for what it is. Hey, this didn't feel good to me.
Yeah.
And I don't really.
Is that a new
Yes.
realization?
In my marriage, I can say Todd and I have a very secure attachment. I would say that is not the area that I struggle with, talking about what I need, getting feedback. Like, it's in my friendships. It's my female relationships where I have seen this emerge more than anything. And I love that I get to practice it at home with Todd, because with Todd, I tell him all the time, this is what I need, this is what I want. Like, that feels really good. But then for some reason, translating that into a boundary with friends it felt like I was going to lose my safety, my relational safety, my relational connection, if I didn't placate.
And you would.
And I did.
Yeah.
And I did. I told the truth.
Yeah.
And it led to disconnection. Yeah. But was it a connection that was actually well matched to begin with?
Yeah.
And I can see that now for what it is, of like, oh, this was never going to be a friendship that was going to last through conflict. And it was only a matter of time. In fact, that was one of the first things you said to me when we met. I had a small group, and you were like, have you guys fought yet? And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Why would we ever fight? We are best friends. And you were like, can't wait to see what that word. I just couldn't. I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. You're on a honeymoon phase, and it wasn't hard, and it was all good. But then when you get into these moments when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize, oh, we are mismatched in how we approach conflict and what we need. And I'm not married to you.
Yeah.
And I get to make a choice about who I bring in and who I release. And if we're not mismatched in how we deal with conflict, or if we're not matched in how that happens, if you can't meet me and see me and fight or get in the nitty gritty, if you just want to glaze over things, that's a mismatch for me.
Yeah.
That's a mismatch.
And part of the beauty of relationships, and it's a struggle, is that we are all so different. And like, her way of trying to
move forward
didn't match yours, and yours didn't match hers. And potentially you were both operating out of the same childhood wound.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
Flip side, same coin. And for you, you're recognizing that the most important relationship you have is with yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you continue to betray yourself, everyone else has that potential too.
And I'm just laying the foundation for it. Yeah.
And so once you can start, because boundaries are there to protect the unit. And it doesn't matter if they like the boundary or not. That's not the point of it. It is to protect. Because otherwise there'd be resentment, bitterness, and then a bigger blow up, bigger conflict.
Yeah.
But setting a boundary that just says, this is what I'm okay with, not to keep you out, but actually to build a bridge.
Which is what it felt like for me. I needed to take a step back. I cannot do hugs and sweeties right now.
Yeah.
But what I can do is wave and smile, and that gives you the response, the warm Ericka that you really want to get from me.
Yeah.
That's what she wanted for me, was a connection of some kind. I can give you that. What I can't do is give you full access to me, whenever you see me physically.
And so now that you have chosen you one more time.
Yeah.
And you can do that more and more out in the wild. Are you noticing different areas that you're like, oh, these are things that I want to offer other people, or I want to actually get bigger and take up more space, because the more I do this, it actually creates opportunities for others to also do it.
Yeah. I've processed through what it looks like to strategically give my energy now. Where I would say in my relationships in the past, I would give as an overflow of who I am. Like, this is not, I mean, maybe it's possible some of it was people pleasing. I think that is a natural tendency that I could easily fall into. But as I'm maturing, and as I look back on my decisions of the past, I was really investing in people who I genuinely loved, and I would never regret investing in those people, loving them well, showing up in life circumstances, doing things for them. But I would say now I am so much more specific with my investments, and almost in a way that feels so strategic that there's almost a grief that comes with it, of like, oh, I would love to invest here, but I can't, because I'm so strategically invested in these relationships that I know are a match. Or my kids are, a big strategic investment, obviously, that I have right now. My marriage, relationships that are meeting me in a reciprocal way, that I feel like I am matched in. I want to give those the amount of investment that they need.
Yeah.
Versus I'm a limited resource. At the end of the day, my time is limited. My finances are limited. We are all a limit. Like, that is just
there are limits.
There are limits. Yeah. And being in mismatched friendships is something I'm not willing to invest in any longer.
So are you saying that you're a lot more intentional about who you spend time with and what actually drains you and fills you?
Intentional, but then also strategic. Yeah. Like, intentional, but then really giving it thought. Like, I'm intentional with people that I have had in my life. Like, there's relationships I've had for years and years, childhood friends that I like want to invest in, but then also asking those strategic questions of like, are we meeting each other? Are we friends because we've been friends for a long time? Because we just have.
Yeah.
Or are we friends because there is a foundation here that has shown itself through hard times, through good times? Yeah. Like, I'm just really interested in building relationships that will last through tough weather.
Well, it sounds like you're not willing to diminish you anymore.
No.
To accommodate others.
Correct.
Because that's part of the whole wanting to belong so much, but we don't, because we diminish ourselves to accommodate.
Yeah.
To fit in. And then we still never truly fit in because we aren't even present for ourselves. Yeah. We're not showing up for who we are.
Yeah.
And so they're not either. And so when everything goes haywire, like, they don't know who they're fighting for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, let's not diminish. And you find the people that actually are like, yeah, I've been waiting for you to show up.
Or like, girl, I want to hash this out with you. Like, yeah, this is where you went wrong, or this is where you hurt me. Or that part, I think, is the most painful out of this whole experience, was the need or the desire or almost the entitlement of closeness without reciprocity of walking the hard things out. That was really a hard one for me to swallow. Yeah.
Yeah. That one is heavy, because there's this expectation of not being given the same courtesy. There's a double standard.
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel good. And then it doesn't match their lived experience. So then there's no understanding.
Oh my gosh, the letdown.
Right?
Yes. And then you're like even being thrown off of hey, this is who you say you are. This is what you say friendship means to you. This is what you preach, or this is the ministry you're involved in. And then when it gets down to it, it's not how I'm experiencing you. I know that there are other women that are at my place that have had awkward relational encounters with other friends, and they get into situations and they don't know what to do when they're in the same space with them.
Yeah.
And the responses would be, I'm going to fight her. I'm going to go feral. I'm going to go stink face. Like, here are all the things that you want to do in your body, or that your body responds with, out of like fight or flight. And what would be your advice to stay classy, grounded? Like, that I think would be the helpful takeaway for other women that are watching this.
I love that, because it is so, like, growing up, I was always told, here are the problems, now go fix it. But I had no tools. They're like, okay, go figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not helpful. And so I love that you asked that, because, okay, do we want to stay classy, mature, all the things, and not do all the visceral body things that our body is trying to keep us safe from?
Yeah.
Right? Our nervous system's only job and purpose is to keep us safe. It doesn't care about the others. And so that's where these visceral responses come in, and the lack of information, education on how to have healthy conflict with other people that also don't know how to have healthy conflict, right? Because if there's conflict, it means disconnect for a lot of people, right? And so if I have conflict with you, then I'm disconnected, and we're not allowed to be disconnected. And so you brush it under the rug. And so what I would say is, like, do what you did. Find someone that you actually trust more than you trust what's actually happening in your body in the current moment, because that current moment was probably not the first time you ever felt that, right? It probably happened long before, but something in that moment was a resource to you, whether it was seeing me or whatever, saying, I know there's a better way and I can do something, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, in my mind, I mean, I'm thinking about all the other women that have these conflicts in friendships. And then you have to see them. Like, you have to, like, go around and you have to see them. And you have to, like, regulate your body's emotions, because what you want to do is be like, I'm gonna fight you. Or, like, these are, I mean,
How dare you?
women do. Some women do. Some women are like, I'm gonna fight you, right?
Yeah.
And they
Okay,
do.
I'll make a mess.
I'll make a mess. Someone will cuss you out and be a biatch. I mean, some women go mean girl status, where they're just like, ew, And then some women go into people pleasing, where they're like, everything is great, everything is fine, we're all happy, we all love each other, which is also not true.
No, it's not. And so all of those things are diminishing what's actually being needed and happening inside, okay? Because it's not the first time those type of things happen. So the goal is, take a breath, take a moment.
Yeah.
If you can, step away like you did and figure out what you need. So I have a scenario that actually just happened to me a couple weeks ago, not with a girlfriend, but similar in my boundaries were crossed. And so I had gone to a church to see a friend speak, and it was great. And I did not prep myself to go in. And there are a lot of things I love about the church. There are also a lot of things that have been cultural and socially acceptable that are actually not helpful, healthy, or empowering, okay, especially for women. And it negatively impacts men also. And so we go in, we do all the fun little greetings, and then I walk into the sanctuary, and I don't even know if they call it the sanctuary there, but I walked in and I'm holding, I think I have Sam's arm and my bag, and some man comes up and puts his arms around my waist. And I froze, like, in my body. I am having this conversation. I have to make it okay for him. I can't make him uncomfortable. And I want to punch him, right? And I'm just there, and then he walks away, and I couldn't even tell you what he looked like at all. And so we go and sit down. My hands are freezing the whole way through church, but I was present enough to be able to hear what they talked about, all the things. And then we get in the car to go home, and we start talking. And then I brought that up to Sam, And immediately I burst into tears. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was my 12-year-old self again. And I was like, and Sam was like, yeah, I was shocked. You didn't protect yourself. I was like, yeah, I am too. But I was a 12-year-old that I wasn't allowed to. I had to protect my sisters and everyone else, but I had to make sure no one's feelings got hurt, right? Just like you were
you didn't want
saying.
to make a mess in the church.
I didn't want to make a mess.
You can't bruise this guy's ego.
Yeah, right? Because, and he's an elder, older than me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
not an elder.
It's hard to differentiate it. Yeah.
And so,
and he was being nice.
And
don't forget about that part.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Like,
that's the part that gets me.
He was trying to welcome me, and boundaries crossed. Okay?
I mean, I feel like that's the thing with heads. Like people are like, this is
the
the nicest thing.
Yeah. No, it is actually the most appalling thing that you can do is to touch somebody without their permission. And it has been like used as a weapon against people. I'm trying to love you. No, I'm actually taking from you. I am not giving you anything. I'm not here to support you. I'm actually taking from you if I don't get your permission. And that goes for marriage, for anything. If like cross the board, touch needs to be consensual 100% of the time. And it can be redacted.
Rejected.
Yeah. Or redacted.
Yeah.
Or taken back.
Today you can touch me, but tomorrow you can't. Yeah.
No, I actually have friends that we have this little dance that some days I'll hug them and some days I don't. It's not that I don't like them. It's just we haven't had enough of a conversation to actually feel close enough for you today. I don't hug you. And we just do this little dance and it's totally fine. It's not weird or awkward for you. Well, at least not for me. But so then going home, I was talking with Sam and he's like, and I was like, and Sam, this is what I do. And so I'm torn with the vulnerability of, I felt exposed now because this is what I help people do. Like, this is my work. And I was supposed to be able to do it. And I couldn't. And he's like, so what would you do with a client? I was like, well, I'd have them come up with scenarios in their mind. It doesn't, and just with us, it doesn't have to be socially acceptable, legal, or anything. Come up with scenarios of how you would have liked to do this. And he's like, okay, what would you have done? I was like, well, the first one, I would just have my elbows out. He can't come close to me. Second one, I look at him and say, how dare you touch me? The audacity. Like, I would have made a scene. And like completely like embarrassed him because if I don't, he's going to do it to someone else. And I'm already trying to figure out, how do I protect all the other women in that church? Like immediately I have to protect them because no one else is. And then my third was, I looked at Sam, I was like, and the third was, you protect me. And he's like, oh. He's like, I was like, because I never had that. I had to. And so, and then noticing, how did my body feel in each of those scenarios? And then just being able to process. And it took me most of the day to work through it. But I was so, and like torn because this is my work. I shouldn't, right? I have these voices.
You're shitting yourself.
The old nervous system and all these areas trying to protect me, right? To be socially acceptable, to be okay. And then realizing like, oh no, like even me being vulnerable with my husband took me a next level of healing because it was safe enough to be vulnerable, right? I didn't have to just be the strong one, right? And so then like, oh, I feel that. And then just processing through. And then by the end of the evening, I was like, okay, now I feel betrayed. I was like, I walk in somewhere that was supposed to protect me. And they didn't. And then just processing that. What does that feel like? And then it took some time. And then I was like, I'm going to actually email the pastors. And within 5 minutes, I got an email and a phone call. How can we fix this? Like, tell me who it was. If he had a lanyard, if he had like, we want to protect you. And so being able to rewrite the old stories of no one's doing it for me. And then my husband was like, if it ever happens again, I will fight for you, right? But he would have never known if I hadn't been vulnerable to tell him. And right, because, and disappointing him that I didn't fight for myself. He was ready and waiting. He's like, yeah, I was waiting for the fight. I was like, yeah, so was I.
Science, welcome to the,
right? And so But if he doesn't know what's going on in me, then he can
That's good.
never be that support that I'm looking for.
Totally.
Right. And then I'm disappointed. And so allowing myself, but it took me all day to process through that and realizing like, oh, we didn't have the tools. And now, like, okay, what would I have wanted to have done? What did I actually need? Who can I talk to that I trust enough that it's not just the old school moment, because the circumstance may not have matched the response.
Yeah.
Right. And so you want to get to this place of groundedness or like clearer thinking, not in fight, flight, or freeze, where you can actually know the truth. Okay, that was a huge response for this one situation, and this didn't cause it.
Right.
Right. So when did I actually need to be protected?
Yeah.
When did you actually have that friendship, that conflict with a friend that you didn't know how to resolve and you just kind of feel shut down now?
Yeah.
Right. And so start noticing that and taking yourself to that moment and just say, what did I actually need? Maybe I needed to sit with my mom and just be like, I don't know what to do. And she just says, hey, I've got you. You get to be all of you.
Yeah.
You're not too much. I love the bright shininess of you.
Yeah.
Right. And not diminishing anyone else in the process and not diminishing yourself in the process. Start there and then checking in with yourself like, oh, are these trying to hold me back? Or is it actually helping me move forward?
You know, it's so interesting as you're talking, I was thinking about what was I feeling in the moment, even after. And I think if I wouldn't have asked for the boundary, like if I would have continued the pattern that I would have done, that I have done, that I've always operated in, which is something awkward happens, there's uncomfortableness. I live in a small town. The MO is you just keep moving and you just hope you never see them again, you know, or you hope that like your worlds just never collide, but that's not the case because we live in Reading and everybody sees each other. And so, so then you come into and you have these stressful encounters where you're like, oh, I see this person, you know, and you're navigating consistently like what to do when you see these people out and about. It's always awkward. Having laid down my boundary, I can say that now I actually feel fine. Yeah. Like I actually feel like, oh, I didn't belay my need for a boundary, like, or I'm not throwing it up to fate of like, what am I going to feel when I see them out and about eventually? Like it almost like was delaying the inevitable.
Oh yeah.
And knowing and confirming that there will be awkward encounters in the future. But instead I dealt with it and I paid the cost with that one conversation of what it would mean for me, future Ericka, in all of these other situations moving forward.
And remembering how that felt.
Yeah.
Like not just the negative part of it, of like, oh, I actually feel free.
I feel free.
And like locking that body feel in, because we remember all of the negative body feels, right? Oh, I see him, I want to cringe, I want to turn around, like, right? All of those feels. But we forget to lock in the, oh, I know what this feels like.
Yeah.
I know what freedom feels like. I know what using my voice feels like, right? And if we can lock that in, because our nervous system's looking for the familiar.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we can remind it of the positive, the growth familiar, it's a lot easier to re-engage with that more often.
And I would say when I think of this person now, I can celebrate the friendship that we had. I see the beauty that they carry. I can acknowledge the good and I feel neutral, which I think if you would have asked me if I wouldn't have laid the boundary and if I wouldn't have spoken my mind, I don't know that I could have been like, and I land in neutral. I think I would have always felt like
twinge.
Yeah, or twinge and a sadness. And there is a grief process that comes along, but me actually closing the door for myself and recognizing it for myself, it allowed me to be able to acknowledge the good, to say and to bless them from afar, like nothing but the best from you. But now I feel
because you
great about their existence.
You didn't have to vilify her to justify your boundary.
So great, so happy for them. Want the best for their life. It's a neutral It's a net neutral, which what a gift that is to have a net neutral after a conflict
Yeah.
versus feeling like I've always got to hold something against this person because I feel like this.
Yeah.
You know, and now I can just release
Yeah.
and truly let go and truly see them as a friendship that was there for a season. We were mismatched, and now they continue on with their life and their journey and their family and their existence. And I am so happy for that.
Yeah.
And I thank you for that.
Good. And it's also recognizing the fact that you can see them and be neutral, and like there's closure for you. We don't need closure with other people.
Yeah.
We all think we do.
That's
We all
good.
need to have that conversation and wrap it up with.
Oh, I love a good closure
Right?
conversation.
We don't.
Oh my gosh,
Because
now you're talking to me right now, because let me tell you right now, I love me a good closure conversation. Like why do I love a good closure conversation? It just feels so nice and neat and pretty.
Yeah, and it tidies, and I feel in control.
Oh, well, that's dumb. I do love being in control, but
But
Yeah.
recognizing, bringing the closure actually brought, it was about you.
right.
Right? And healing that part of you that didn't have as much to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's good.
You protected you. You brought closure. And that's the goal, because we can't control other people.
Yeah, if there wasn't going to be reconciliation, which she was not willing to do. Like I asked multiple times, we brought in the third party. It was just not going to happen. What I wanted from reconciliation was not what she wanted from reconciliation. And that was where I actually shut the door.
Yeah.
I just shut the door. And
That's
I was
right.
like, I don't get to have my closure, but I feel it now on the other end. Like I feel the closure now, which feels so good.
Because there's resolve for you.
Resolve for me. I closed my own loop.
Yeah.
I closed my own trauma loop, or whatever that may be. And there probably is stuff from my past of living in a small town, going to a small school where you learn to exist with conflict in a way that whether or not it's healthy doesn't matter. It's for the common good.
Yes.
And that, I'm sure along the way, there is truth to that, of when to know when to let things go, when to not let things go, when it matters, when it doesn't matter. But I'm confident that there were times in my life where things really impacted me and I let them go at the cost of myself. And that's the cycle that can't continue.
Yeah. And so,
And as a 40-year-old woman, I'm just now arriving to the party.
but you're not behind.
I mean, it feels
Okay.
like that way, but
It does
Yeah.
feel that way. But just think of how many generations before us as women were able to actually have autonomy. Women actually had to belong to somebody to survive.
yeah.
Like when they came over on wagon trains to the West, women had to belong to a man to survive. Otherwise, her life was not very pretty.
Yeah.
Right? And so it is so ingrained in us to belong, to diminish ourselves so that someone will keep us. The goal is to help change that narrative for our generation, for past, and for future.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of people ahead of us that are doing this. So you're not behind.
I think that's so good. Even as we continue to talk, like I'm just thinking about the temperature of the world, but even just locally, the idea of covering things up for the sake of others,
yeah.
right? And I think that that's probably a good way to put it, is that we like to cover up the messy parts for the sake of others.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of, for myself, covering things up for the sake of myself, not holding people accountable when they did something wrong for the sake of other people and the group, and
Make it palatable.
Make it palatable. But it's not always palatable. Sometimes it is
And then
messy.
it blows up.
And then it blows up.
Right? And so all of this cover up, all
And then the
of
blower
this
upper
hiding,
is the villain.
yeah.
Oh, that one's a hard one though.
Yeah. Right? All of that is, okay, I'm going to use a silly story to go with this, but I think it works. This is me verbally processing.
can't
So it's like women on our periods, okay? So we have our monthly cycle, and the first 2 phases of our cycle, our estrogen is higher, cortisol is lower. So things roll off our backs. We're a lot more pleasant. We engage with people more, and we're a lot more communicative, right? And a lot more grace, right? And then the second 2 phases, where resting estrogen is lower, resting cortisol is higher, and everything pisses me off.
Yeah.
Right? But these first 2 weeks, we just let everything roll off our back. Like, we covered it up. And now, the world's going to hell in a handbasket because I just stuffed it.
Yeah, you stuffed
right?
it. Mm-hmm.
And so someone actually brought that up this morning, so it's fresh. And they're like, well, what about my cycle? Because I feel like I'm in like fight, flight, or freeze stage all the time. I was like, oh, it's because you're not dealing with things.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we cover it up, we brush it off, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I can handle it. They don't have capacity right now, right? So we diminish ourselves to accommodate until here. And then let me tell you. And so once I realized and learned about this, I've started like speaking up in the moment.
Yeah.
Or within 24 hours of like, oh, I didn't really like how that landed. Or that didn't work for me. Or what did you mean by that?
Yeah.
Right? And not letting things roll off my back. And it has been like our life and our interactions, like mine and Sam's, and then just at home in general, and with most people. My interactions are a lot more even-keeled across the board all month long.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not trying to pretend, cover up, or accommodate. And I'm not being malicious.
Yeah, that's the key too.
Oh, like, and there are so many nuances because it is all about, okay, what's my motivation? Am I just pissed at them? So now I'm gonna be like,
am I gonna control it because I want what I want?
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not a control thing. It's what is actually going to benefit.
It's actually like a health thing.
Yeah.
It's an overflow
of health. Is
this
helpful or hurtful?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Or am I manipulating because I want things to go my way? And that's why I'm asserting myself. Is
this long-term, short-term, helpful, hurtful?
Totally.
And so I just kind of always am trying to scan. Okay. Or am I just picking a fight because I'm in a pissy mood? Okay. I'm going to let that one go because that has nothing to do with them.
Yeah. That's good.
Right. And so it's starting to realize like, oh, I can inconvenience others for one, and I can allow myself to have preferences, and they matter. And when I start diminishing me to accommodate, I start getting resentful and bitter. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so start noticing those type of things. Those would be the practical tools. Start noticing those things.
That's so
Where
good.
am I diminishing myself to accommodate?
It's okay. No, we're fine. Everything's good. No, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. And own it. And you don't have to justify it. That's the other one.
Oof.
You don't have to justify your no.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Why? Don't feel it, right? But if I say yes, then you better own that yes.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be like, well, I said yes 2 weeks ago. You should have tracked your cycle. Right?
You should have known. Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
And figure out who you are as an autonomous person, because you get to show up as the best version of you, and others get to see that.
I keep on thinking that phrase, clarity is kindness. And I know that it's true. I mean, obviously being an intimacy coach and like doing this with couples that are doing intimacy at every level, like intimacy, sexual intimacy, emotional intimacy, connection, the somatics of being connected to your own body, like clarity is the solution to so many of these disconnects where we just have trouble even naming what it is that we're feeling. And I appreciate and I'm practicing. I mean, I think it is a practice. Clarity is also a practice. Like you have to really work. You think you're clear and then people are like, that is not what you said. You know, you think you're like communicating in a way that's like super clear, but then there's also, you're not responsible for what other people hear too. And so there's just a constant like need to come back to the table and ask for me asking myself, what was when I thought I was being clear, what was I saying? And am I really being clear, or am I adding layers to this? What is the most clear version of this?
What's the motivation behind what I'm trying to say?
What am I really saying? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so true. You know, I'm thinking back to another one, a conversation that I had. And at the time it was super hurtful, but it was kindness.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it as kindness. I didn't want to interpret it as kindness. What it was hurtful. But what I took away from it was a revelation of, oh, this is where we stand. And this friend that I thought I was really close with, I thought we were really close. I saw her as someone that was in my inner circle. I could share and tell her that even though I didn't see her all the time, like I felt like, oh, I can call this person in a time of need. They're in my inner circle. Something happened. They were talking about me behind my back. I called her and I was like, hey, I'm hearing this. What's going on? Are we friends? Like, are we really friends? Like that. And her response to me was, Ericka, I always just kind of thought of you as a party friend. Like you're just someone that I see at parties and I enjoy you and I have a good time with you, but I don't count you as someone that I'm close to. You're just someone that I enjoy being with. And when I tell you that that was like a freaking knife in my heart, I was like, bah! I mean, it hurt so bad to hear that in the moment.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden I had to adjust. Oh, I thought we were close. You do not think we are close. No wonder why I'm having pain from you. No wonder why I am experiencing this, what I feel like is a different reality of like how I think you would behave in friendship versus how you're behaving. Yeah. And it took me a couple days to sit with this. Like I at the moment I cried. It was an ugly cry. But then now moving forward, I'm like, oh, that was so kind. I don't think she meant it maliciously. She wasn't saying it to be mean. She was genuinely telling me, this is how I see you. Let's adjust our expectations about how I can show up for you. This is who you are in my life. And that now I feel a sense of relief. Because now I know I can say, oh, I'm so sad we're not really good friends. I thought we were. But that's a me problem.
Right.
That's a me problem. And I can now adjust what I give, my strategic investment of like, why am I bending over backwards for this person?
Yeah.
Why am I available at all hours of the night and doing these things when that is not the person that she is going to be for me.
We're not on the same level.
We are mismatched. Yeah. And so I've been able to really see things so much clearer. So that idea, that what you were explaining about even just expectations and consent and like really understanding where you stand with other people and then recognizing your motivations behind it. Yeah. That clarity, even though it hurt, was so kind.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to vilify it, but then I can't because it was her truth.
Yeah. And like that is the other struggle is we like to create villains so we can be the victim, right? And I said this already, but we are humans and we all have wounds. And if we can stop vilifying people, we get to change the culture and the impact of relational dynamics. And that's my goal.
And I think that is a huge gift that you give to all of your clients is that there's no villain in your stories. And that is such a toxic mentality to carry around that there are villains. I mean, there are bad people. There are bad people. But in my world, specifically what you've helped me with is I don't actually operate with bad people. There are no actually inherently bad people in my world. And that's on purpose. I don't align myself with bad people. Are there? I try not to. If you're out there, I will find you and weed you out. Okay. But the point is that there are 90% of these pains come from good people who maybe made a mistake or did something painful, but they're not inherently bad people. And that has helped free me also, is releasing this need for a villain.
Yeah.
And seeing it for what it is and then operating from this place of, though these are good people, we're just mismatched, or our needs are different, or my need is different.
Yeah.
What is my need?
Yeah.
And how are we not aligned in that way?
Yeah.
In my relationship with Todd, in my relationship with my kids, and in friendships. It's been so helpful.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for sharing.
I mean,
I appreciate it. Look forward to the next one.
Can I hug you? Okay. She's like, no.
But you may touch my hand.
There we go. So funny.